A lot of people don't know what the Mexican Revolution is. I'm going to clarify it for you. The Mexican Revolution, which began in 1910, was one of the great revolutionary upheavals of the 20th century. What caused the Mexican Revolution to begin? The Mexican Revolution began as a movement of the middle-class protest against the long-standing dictatorship of Porfirio Díaz. Porfirio Díaz was keen to develop Mexico into an industrial and modernized country, while rural workers and peasants suffered greatly. In 1910, Díaz ran for his seventh re-election as president. Francisco Madero then emerged as the leader of the anti-re-election movement and announced his candidacy. As a result, Díaz had Madero arrested and declared himself the winner after a mock election in June. Once Madero was released from prison, he called for a revolt on November 20th. Who were the leaders of the revolution? In the north, General Francisco Pancho Villa organized an army of small ranchers, railroad workers, miners, and other middle-class people. In the south, General Emiliano Zapata organized the poor peasants who demanded that the haciendas return the land to the peasant communities. Emiliano Zapata stated,
"It never occurred to you that the revolution was fought for the benefit of the great masses. You have given or rented our haciendas to your favorites, and the people are mocked in their hopes."
In the spring of 1911, Madero, Villa, and Zapata took Ciudad Juárez and forced Díaz to resign. On June 7, 1911, Francisco Madero was declared president. Madero's regime faltered from the start. On February 18, 1913, after the 9th day of that Emilee, known as La Decena Trágica or the 10 Tragic Days, Victoriano Huerta and Félix Díaz met in the office of U.S. Ambassador Henry Lane Wilson and signed the so-called Pact of the Embassy, in which they conspired against Madero and declared Huerta president. On February 21, 1913, Huerta had ordered the murder of Francisco Madero. By July of 1914, Victoriano Huerta was beaten and forced to resign. Carranza quickly declared himself president on August 20th and announced that the revolution was over. But Villa and Zapata did not agree. Emiliano Zapata stated,
"Better to die on your feet than live on your knees."
Thus, the next stage of the revolution emerged. It was the fight of Álvaro Obregón and Carranza versus Villa and Zapata. Woodrow Wilson's support of Carranza launched a vendetta against Americans in Mexico and U.S. border towns. On April 13, 1915, Villa and Zapata were defeated in the Battle of Celaya. As a result, in March 1916, Villa retaliated against the United States and ordered a raid on Columbus, New Mexico. This prompted President Woodrow Wilson to order John J. Pershing into the Mexican hills in pursuit for Villa. However, on February 7, 1917, Pershing and his troops returned back to the United States humiliated, without killing Villa, let alone seeing any of Villa's troops. Pancho Villa once said, "My sole ambition is to rid Mexico of this class that has oppressed her, and given the people a chance to know what real liberty means. And if I could bring that about today by giving up my life, I would do it gladly." Carranza then invited Zapata to make a deal with him against the American invasion. However, it was all a lie. On April 20, 1919, Zapata was ambushed and assassinated by order of Carranza. Obregón then rose against Carranza. On May 21, 1920, Carranza was found in hiding and shot. As president of Mexico, Obregón had made some social progress, but it was not everything that the revolution had promised. When did the revolution end? Many historians regard 1920 as the end of the revolution, but violence and clashes between federal troops and rural forces continued until the reformist president Lázaro Cárdenas took office in 1934. So in conclusion, the Mexican Revolution was a long and bloody struggle among several factions in the constantly shifting alliances, which results ultimately in the 30-year dictatorship and established a constitutional republic.